Hey guys, how are you doing? Following our last discussion on monoclonal antibodies, today we are building on that foundation to explore the broader critical topic of immunity. Understanding your body's defense system encompassing innate and adaptive immunity is absolutely essential for your UPSC CSC examination. We often see discussion about immunity in daily news, making it a highly relevant topic for both your preliminary examination and mains examination. So let's dive in and master these vital concepts for your success in the examination. First of all, we will discuss about what exactly our immune system is. So our immune system is basically your natural defense system. Okay, so this is our, let me make some brief notes for you. It is our natural defense system, right? Natural defense system. What it does, it fights against or it protect us. It protect us from infections, right? From germs, right? And diseases, germs and diseases, or for that matter we call it pathogen. What are pathogen? Basically they are disease causing organism, right? They are called disease causing organism. Disease causing organism. You might ask the following question, what does immunity system comprises of? So let me tell you, there are certain organs for that matter. For example, your organ system, for example, there is bone marrow. Bone marrow, it is the factory where blood cells are made, right? So blood cells, and particularly what I'm interested in, we are interested in their blood cells are made, right? Blood cells are made. Which blood cells we want to talk? We want to talk today about WBC, right? Which part we want to talk? We want to talk about WBC. White blood cells, white blood cells make up the defense system of body, right? Defense system of body. You must have heard of thymus. Thymus. Thymus is basically, there is one thymus. Thymus is basically organ which produces thymosin. Thymus is, in easy language, if you want to understand, it is a training center for. It is basically training center for WBC. It, right? It is basically what? School for T cells, particularly T cells, right? T lymphocytes, you will learn it slowly. T lymphocytes, T lymphocytes. Then spleen, what it does? Another important organ, which play important role. Spleen. What is spleen basically? Spleen, it filters out blood, right? So it filters blood, stores immune cells. What it does? Filters it filters blood, it stores immune cells. What it does, it stores immune cells. It is graveyard of RBC, if you know the basic science. Graveyard of RBC, red blood cells. Apart from that, it fights against blood-borne germs, right? Apart from spleen, you know about lymph nodes. Okay, so another one is lymph nodes. Lymphatic system. Lymph nodes has WBC. Lymph nodes has WBC. Okay. So you must be knowing about lymph nodes. So lymph nodes क्या करता है? What it does, it traps, it traps germs, it traps germs, right? It traps germs from lymph. Lymph is a fluid which doesn't have RBC. It has few WBC and, right? Okay. Okay, and then there are, apart from lymph node, there are, for example, there are tonsils and adenoids. Tonsillitis. Sometimes what happens? Tonsils are, again, they are part of tonsils are part of what? Immune system. Tonsils and adenoids. Tonsils and they guard throat and mouth. And what they do? They guard your. This is again guard your throat and mouth. Guard your throat, right? And most importantly, your skin, for that matter, skin and mucous membrane. Skin and mucous membrane, it is also part of your, this is also part of your, okay, this is part of your immune system, right? It acts as physical barrier. It acts as physical barrier. Physical barrier for your, physical barrier for germs, physical barrier for germs or pathogens, or for that matter any antigen, right? Pathogens, right? There are important cell types. So let me tell you important cell types. You should also remember. At least we can briefly know about them, and then we'll discuss about innate and you know important cell types. Important cell types. There are important cell types. For example, important cell types consist of, you must have heard of macrophages. They eat germs, clean debris. So there are macrophages all around the body, macrophages. What they do? Macrophages, they eat germs, clean debris, okay, clean debris, so antigen to T cells, so antigen to T cells. This is the basic funda of macrophages. Then there are monocytes. There are monocytes, okay, in WBC, part of WBC, There are lymphocytes. They are also part of WBC, lymphocytes, right? We have T lymphocytes. We have T lymphocytes. We have B lymphocytes. I am going to discuss about them a little while, right? T cells have different types. For example, if I because in the newspaper recently there was an article in the Hindu, and it was about, there was they were mentioning these two type of cells in a topic. It was TH1. TH1. What is this? This activate macrophages, right? This activate macrophages. There was another, it was mentioned there, THR. TR basically, not TH, TR1. है ना? What it does, it calms down. What it does is calm down overreaction. Calm down overreaction, right? So, I mean, it is kind of peacekeeper, you can call it peacekeeper. It is like peacekeeper. You can call it peacekeeper. Okay? You can call it peacekeeper. All right. So these are basic cells. Like there are cytotoxic cells also. Cytokinin, cytotoxic cell, natural killers. So cytotoxic. So there are cytotoxic cell also, right? There are cytotoxic cell help in allergy, for example. There are natural killers also, NK cells. NK cells are called basically natural killers. Right? Natural killers. This is the basic idea of the immune system, right? Then there are molecules, for example, antibodies, cytokines, which I was talking, and there are complementary proteins also. So we will discuss about these. So if you want to talk about a bit, because I have this space left. So there are molecules also. There are certain molecules which play very, very important roles. Particularly antibodies, we had discussed about this in the last video. Antibodies are essentially proteins, they are proteins. They are key lock system kind, they attach to antigens and therefore destroy. For example, you have got it, right? So they lock onto antigens and neutralize it. There are cytokines. There are chemicals called cytokines. Again, you must have seen all these things in the newspaper. Cytokines communicate between cells. Okay, so it is kind of turning immune system on and off. They are kind of communicators. And there are complement proteins. Those help in destruction of antigens. Complementary proteins. By the way, again, so if you want to know cytokines, generally you must have seen IFN gamma. For example, IFN gamma. This is called gamma. Interleukin 10. These are example, right? And there are complementary proteins. There are complement proteins. Complement proteins. This is the very basic idea of the immune system, right? I hope it is clear to you. Now, let's discuss about, okay, so immune system is basically two things, we have innate immunity. Something is called innate immunity. We have two types of immunity. One is called innate immunity. Innate immunity is basically first line of, so quickly let me discuss about it. It is the first line of defense present from birth, first line of defense. This is first line of defense, right? It is innate immunity is something which is present from the birth, right? As soon as we born in this world, we have this innate immunity, right? It acts very quickly. So there are certain things about it. It acts very quickly. It acts very quickly. Okay, it acts very quickly. Non-specificity. It is not a specific. Non-specificity. Non-specificity. It is same for all kind of, same for all kind of pathogen, all kinds of, okay, same for all kind of pathogen, okay. They consist of, for example, these cells, like, natural killers. Natural killers are part of both adaptive and innate immunity. There are eosinophils, for example. They do what? They do detoxification. They do what? Detoxification. They are part of WBC. Basophils, they fight against allergies, right? There are mast cells, there are monocyte macrophages, dendritic cells also. So this comes under, innate immunity, right? They don't have any memory. If they ask you question, do they have any memory? No memory, right? So just remember, no memory. Okay, innate immunity cells don't have any memory. They respond same way every time. They respond same way every time. Every time there is infection, they respond in the same, right? Their response is very quick, immediate. Their response is quite so immediate, okay? Main components, for example, so if you were to talk about main components, so let me use this pen. Their main components are, basically physical barrier, skin. You know what is the skin? The skin is sort of physical barrier. It is physical barrier for all sort of, infection, germs. Chemical barrier, for example. Another one is, for example, chemical barrier. Chemical barrier, best example, chemical barrier. For example, we have this stomach, J-shaped stomach, and okay, let me make it little bit clear. So J-shaped stomach. This is the J-shaped stomach, right? This is part of very general sense. This is pyloric antrum. Something is called pyloric antrum, right? Okay. So this is J-shaped stomach, and okay, HCl, hydrochloric acid is there. So hydrochloric acid is part of, innate immunity. It kills, stomach acid kills. For example, it kills, germs present in the food. Then there are other cells. For example, I was talking to natural killers. Natural killer cells. There are phagocytic. Phagocytic simply mean they eat cells. For example, monocytes are example of phagocytic. Even neutrophils. Neutrophils have phagocytic in nature. They fight against infection. Right? And there are proteins also. Example of this system is, if you want to talk about example, fever. Fever. It is accompanied with, suppose there is some infection, there is fever. Body, hypothalamus of the body, which is thermostat, it increases the temperature to kill those pathogens, right? Inflammation, phagocytosis, right? Phagocytosis. So if there is fever, there is inflammation in the body, it is the, which system is working? Innate system is working, right? So let me write inflammation once again. Inflammation does not mean only swelling, it simply means infection also. Just remember this thing, okay? Inflammation. So if you want to talk about other sort of immunity, another is called adaptive immunity. Adaptive immunity is second line of defense. So what is this? This is called second line of defense. This is called second line of defense. Okay, this is second line of defense. Developed over a period of time. What is this? This developed over a period of time. It develop over a period of time. Okay, it develop over a period of time, right? Specific to pathogen. Just try to understand the difference. Specific to pathogen. This is specific to pathogen, right? And immunological, it has immunological memory. There are cells which remember what type of infection was there earlier, right? Immunological memory. Their response is slower response. Just remember, slower response. Okay. Main components are, let me tell you, main components are B cells. Main component are B cells and T cells. And T cells. Okay. If we were to talk about examples, so example is immunization, vaccination for example, right? Long-term protection, vaccination. For that matter, government is running, for example, vaccination program, yeah, immunology. Vaccination government UIP was there, universal immunization program or other immunization programs. Vaccination, long-term protection. It consists of long-term protection. All right. So before winding up this discussion, there are two types of adaptive immunity. So sometimes this is in news. Two types, So this is basically of two types. Two types. Okay. So what we can do, we can write adaptive immunity two types. Okay. Two types. One is called cell-mediated (CMI). One is called CMI. It means cell-mediated immunity, right? Cell-mediated immunity. Cell-mediated immunity. And other is called antibodies. Antibodies mediated immunity. Let's discuss one after another. Immunity. Okay. So cell-mediated immunity, basically T cells which directly destroys. In simple words, T cells, T lymphocytes basically, right? So T lymphocytes, what they do? T lymphocytes directly destroy, directly destroy infected, directly destroy infected or abnormal cells. Abnormal cells. Alright? Okay. So T lymphocytes are there, right? For example, cytotoxic T cells, CD plus 4, CD plus 8, for example, right? Okay. So examples are cytotoxic T cell, cytotoxic cytotoxic T cells, for example, CD8 plus, CD4 plus, right? Okay, this is the example, one example, right? They target intracellular pathogens, right? Intracellular pathogen, for example, virus and some bacteria. So their target is what? Target is virus, some bacteria. They kills bacteria. They also kill cancer cells, transplanted tissues. They kill cancer cells. They also kill uh, transplanted tissues. Right? They are cytotoxic in nature. They kill basically cells. Right? Mechanism is basically they recognize antigen and infect it. So mechanism is what? If we were to talk about mechanism, what they do? They identify antigen and destroy it. And destroy, they directly destroy it. Right? No antibodies is involved. Okay. Most important line, no antibody for that matter is involved. Okay. No proteins, antibody proteins are involved. Just remember this one. Okay. So I have used another pen. Maybe it is visible to you. Right? And they forms memory cells. They also forms memory T cells. also forms memory T cells. Okay. Antibodies, antibody mediated is also sometimes in newspaper you must have seen humoral. Huh? It is called humoral immunity. It is called humoral immunities. So, right? What it does, it simply means B cells produce antibodies. B cells produce antibodies and kill pathogens. What it does, it kills pathogens. Right? Main cells are B lymphocytes. Okay. Again, helper T cells also required. Helper T cells required for, okay, T cells required for activation. For activating these cells, helper T cells are required, right? Okay. So what they kill actually? They can kill bacteria, virus, again kill bacteria, virus, other toxins, for example, right? Other toxins, right? Okay. What is the mechanism? If you want to talk about mechanism is pretty simple. They produce antibodies, like we were talking about monoclonal antibodies, right? They produce antibodies. Antibodies are essentially which lock proteins which lock onto they lock onto antigen and destroy simply destroyed. Okay. They forms memory cells, forms B memory cells. They have also memory, B memory cells. They also forms B memory cells, right? Antibodies is key component. Antibodies is key component, right? So cell mediated basically doing the killing with the help of T cells, right? With the T cells, right? So I hope you have understood. So in one line, CMI has to do with T cells, AMI has to do with B cells. Right? This is the basic concepts of immunity, and why I chose this topic, because this was there in the newspaper. So if you like this class, don't forget to hit like button, don't forget to share button. If you have not yet subscribed the channel, please do subscribe. We'll come up with another topic. Till then, goodbye. Thank you so very much.